And good Thursday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Welcome as we begin today. 50 is where we are, but it's going to get a lot warmer as we'll head toward 81 for a high. It almost feels like a summer day before it's over. Did I mention this November the 3rd? Wow. The year is getting by us, getting close to the end of it. Good morning to everyone. I see Lois is up. Good morning to you there. Also, Dorothy Ford. Good to see you up. Melanie Dotson joining us, Jory Robinson, Mike Dallas, a few of y'all already up, and Adam today. I've had a little bit of coffee. I feel a little bit better. Active night. We've got a lot to talk about, what went on in the overnight hours across Meridian. We'll also talk about what happened in our state. A few of the things that's shaping our nation as we get ready for less than a week now for the election. Which way will the country turn? Well, it all depends upon you, no matter where you're watching me from, whether it's in Mississippi, maybe you're up due north, maybe you're out west. It doesn't matter. Make sure you vote. All of that together makes us what our nation is. We've got to make changes, it looks like. And I think the nation overall, from everything I've read, is ready for a change. Ready to have more money in their wallet is what it all amounts to. Higher bills, higher taxes, it just seems. And be ready. If you live in Lauderdale County, it will be a shock. Kind of forgotten about this. Come late December, somewhere along in there, you'll get a little piece of paper in the mail that says your taxes, your land taxes, your home, they're going up. We've got a courthouse coming, and all of that is raising the price of your land taxes. Probably won't think about that until December when you get that piece of paper. It's not going to be pretty, I don't believe. But we'll have a courthouse, won't we? We'll talk more about that before long. Don't forget, also, tomorrow we'll have Sheriff Billy Solly as a special guest at the 8 a.m. show tomorrow. Make sure to join when Billy comes in to talk about a few things that's going on. Ought to be interesting. I want you to watch that. Well, each and every weekday morning, we try to get your day started off right. Let's head out and talk about what team that you play for as we join the good folks out at Collinsville Baptist Church. JJ joins us this morning.
When two teams come together to compete in a game against each other, with them comes two sets of fans. Imagine how weird it would be, though, if one section had an area for people who are fans of both teams. It just doesn't work. In the same way, we cannot be on the team of the world and of sin and also claim to be on God's team. The Bible tells us that we cannot serve two masters because we will love and be devoted to one or we'll hate and despise the other. So the question we have to ask ourselves is this: who do we serve, Jesus or the world? We won't be perfect, and that's why we need Jesus to begin with. But if we've trusted Jesus as Savior, He'll also be Lord of our life. He'll direct our life. He'll be our master. May we live in such a way where the world sees that Jesus is over all that we do. Because remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Always a great message from Collinsville. Thank you very much for that today. How do you feel today? I hope good there. Lonnie points out, and we also got a beautiful sidewalk leading into downtown Meridian. Speaking of which, don't forget that bridge is closed right now. Go over the 18th Avenue Bridge to get to downtown. It's a little out of the way as they make a few repairs there. So be ready for a little bit of a change there as you start your day there. It's been extended, the road closure, for a little while. It's been tough on those businesses down through there. Remember that. Well, as we begin today, we have to report it all happened. And as we look at this, this will be, let's talk about gunfire first this morning of what happened last night. Let me pull something up so we'll have this to be able to talk about it a little bit closer there as what went on last night. Now, we'll dig really deep into this morning at the 8 a.m. show, but gunfire did strike last night again in Meridian. As a matter of fact, it was all over the place. I wouldn't say a dozen, but it was probably 6 or 7 places that I've gotten messages of gunfire outside my home, what's going on. We did have one home that was shot up. No one was injured as we pulled this up. This will be the 300 block of 45th Avenue. As we all know, this area, as you get off the interstate, airport exit, going up 19 toward College Park, right to the right. Here's 5th Street where Mid-South Welding is. The gas station sits here. It will be just due east of there, north of Budweiser, up in this area right here to the right. Now, From what I understand, no one was injured. A miracle in itself that someone can drive down a street and shoot into a home and no one get hit. God's with you, so to speak. We do know that it was a dark-colored four-door car that sped away into the night after doing this. These are not, they're chosen spots for whatever reason. They're mad at somebody, we would assume. Wasn't there. I don't know the individuals involved, but a bad situation there. This was not up in the air. It was directly at a home, shot into, and again, they did flee into the night. Did get away. I think they went toward Boundland is where they went that direction. Always keep your eyes and ears peeled in the neighborhood. Write down a tag number if you can. If you get tired of that, well, contact somebody. And I've talked about this several times. This falls under Ward 4 is where this is. And if you'd like to reach out to your city councilman, this is who you get in touch with. Let's pull this up so you can see this. This is Miss Rwanda Walker's district. You can reach her at Rwanda Walker at meridianms.org. Are you tired of it? Just gunshots after another? Also, here's your police chief. We'll bring this up again at 8 o'clock. 485-1842 is how you reach our police chief, Deborah Young. Let her know, well, I'm not real fond of people shooting in my hometown. Also, we can also reach the mayor. Here's Jimmy Smith. You can reach him at his office at 601-485-1926. We say this in all good measure. Those are all public ways to reach your officials. They are elected. They have to hear from you or, well, they don't think anything of it. It's like anything else. A squeaky wheel gets the grease. Isn't that the old saying? If you don't speak up, no one knows that you're upset about it. That's how you get in touch with them. Now, we'll go over this again this morning at 8 o'clock. And I'm looking across here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I see about 6 different locations last night that had gunfire. Now, the rest of them were either up in the air or they totally missed what they were shooting at. That's the way it happened there. One to mention here, 1700 block of 23rd Avenue. Had a nice lady text me from her bed saying that, I'm scared to even get up. Bullets whizzing by. I can hear it. Didn't strike her home, but did make her uncomfortable. We've got to put a stop to this. And how do we do that? Well, we've got to have something done. We've got to have presence. Let everybody know that the gangs no longer rule the streets of our city. There's got to be a change, some way, somehow. We were told that there would be. Give them time. Well, time's up. Let's do something before somebody else gets hurt. Why am I concerned? Let me see. Let me count backwards. Oh, yeah. Just a couple of days ago, didn't we have a murder downtown Meridian? Broad daylight? Think so, just a little bit after lunch. Broad daylight, a man murdered in the streets of our town. It's got to be stopped. There's no other way. We've got to get a grip back on our city. And again, those are the people to get in touch with. We're going to go lots deeper into this morning at 8 o'clock talking about this. Now, yesterday afternoon, I don't think anything was hit on this. I also reported this right at dark, right around in there. 17th Avenue gunshots were heard. Again, in that area, there was no one hurt, no one injured with that. Thank heavens. But that was one of the ones before dark. And the darker it got, the worse it got. The more gunshots we would hear and just bad. Overnight, I'm getting word. I just spoke to the fire chief. We had a home burn, extensive damage last night in the city limits of Meridian. And if you live in that area, friends, neighbors of yours, they're going to need a little help getting back on their feet as we look at this. The structure fire happened in the 1400 block of 5th Street. As the Meridian Fire Department got there, the home was fully engulfed. Everyone made it out okay, thank heavens. No one was injured seriously with that. That's good. But their lives are messed up for quite some time. If you live in that neighborhood, they're going to need a little hand. Help them out there. If you got clothes sizes or anything like that, if they're lost or close, send that to us. We'll be glad to post that where people can help out with that. Always important to help thy neighbor. Truly believe that. Yesterday afternoon, traffic was a little bit stalled as we went down 19. We had another fender bender. We had someone that was, an ambulance was called to the scene. It wasn't life-threatening, but still scary as these things happen on Highway 19. Right in front of the Dollar General is where that happened. As we'll look at these pictures here, this is it. As we see here, here's the car. 2 cars involved with that. And this is a little bit better scene of just how it looked of why traffic was slower. Let's zoom this up a little bit bigger where it shows bigger on your phones and tablets there. That's the scene that it was in front of Dollar General yesterday afternoon. It did slow traffic for a while. Again, no one seriously injured in that, but a wreck nonetheless. We had another wreck where a car caught on fire yesterday afternoon. 24th Avenue is where that went down. As we look at this, possible injuries with that. Meridian Fire Department and everybody showed up to the scene. There was no serious injuries, but no life-threatening. Let me back that up and say it that way. Car did catch fire. Also, right around lunchtime, we got another message of a disturbance in downtown Meridian. What's going on? This is, I don't know how many, second, third, fourth time? How many times has it happened? Let's pull this up so you can take a look at this. As we go downtown Meridian, this is the scene what firefighters and emergency officials would come up on. A building had partially collapsed. Have you seen all of this? Wow. The back wall of the store completely fell as we go through these different pictures. Now, again, it's just neglect through the years of rotting, and eventually a wall will collapse as we look at this. Now, this building here is on the corner. This is the actual building here that fell, the second building. This used to be the old Rainer drugstore. Do y'all remember that? Right there next door to it is where all that Hewlett Furniture Company sits in front of that. Here's a front view of that. That's where Rainer was, and this is the building that actually fell as they look at all of that. Plenty of pictures to thumb through if you get a chance. Look at that. It's all on our Facebook page today, and you can go through and look at all the many different pictures from that yesterday afternoon. Again, no one was hurt with that, but boy, these old buildings just collapsing out of the blue, that's not safe, is it? It's not. We have sad news as we turn to Clark County this morning. If y'all remember the alert that was put out of the 88-year-old gentleman that was missing from the Shibuya community. He has been found. He was deceased. We send condolences to the family and heartfelt prayers as he was found in a small pond not far from his home. 88 years old, wandered off, and again, heartfelt prayer sent to the family of this gentleman. Tough time for them, I'm sure. I mentioned this just a moment ago about the shooting downtown Meridian that we talked about being broad daylight. As you look at the story on this, we did get word from the Meridian Police Department as we pull this back up. And go to sammedia.network. The victim has been identified. Adam James turned himself in. Again, this was the 12th victim of the year murder in Meridian. Marco LaFleur is the victim. We pass along condolences to his family as well. Again, bond has been denied for the person that is accused of the murder. He's in jail at this point. No bond set. That's good news. We need stronger things just like that to happen. Let's see. Denise says on that that was the second section of Rainer's that had the doll collectors and figurines and Christmas decorations in that part of the store. Okay, I didn't realize that. It's the just to the left of the main store there. Oh, Hattiesburg was a little bit worse than Meridian last night. I don't know if you saw the headlines of what was going on. As we watched, I checked in on the Hattiesburg Patriot as they had 2 more murders, 3 injured after a shootout on West 5th Street in Hattiesburg. It was chaotic. 2 people dead, 3 others injured. Gun battle right there. 2 dead. Hattiesburg has its issues as well. It's bad down there. They were carrying live footage of as it developed, and a scary situation there. We've had an arrest of a former law enforcement official in the state of Mississippi's Dark Horse Press. Gives us more information on that out of Jackson. Former MDOC officer has been sentenced to life for child sex crimes. As we go there, here's a picture of what our friends over at Dark Horse put out. This is William Jeffrey Knight. He was sentenced to 95 years in prison, day-for-day sentence. That's quite a while there. Part of that was lustful touching of a child. He'd been a law enforcement officer for 20 years. He was arrested while on the job. Not going to be pretty where he's going for what he's done. He usually doesn't set well with others. We see that our longest-running transportation commissioner has died at the age of 84. Anybody remember the name Dick Hall? I do. He was retired, and he just passed away. We send condolences to his family as well as we look at these headlines across Mississippi this morning. We go to Tupelo, and I agree with this sentence, and maybe it was too light, but if you've got somebody that does a crime over and over and over, let's do an example. Maybe they've done this crime 10 times in a row. What am I talking about? Bank robbery. Tupelo man has been sentenced to 20 years in jail for the 10th time. Jasper Wagner is going to be sent to a maximum security prison. Wow, wow. He's been sentenced. That's 10 times. You know, the banks just aren't what they used to be. It's not the Jesse James day. They've got cameras, and I don't see how you could ever truly ever get away with a crime like that. Some people just don't think before they plan all of this. We do hear that across the state of Mississippi that seasonal flu shots are going to be available at all county health departments if you like to take the shot. I'm not one of those that's ever liked that flu shot. Now, people argue with me left and right. There's some on each side of the fence on this debate. Every time, and it may just be coincidence, I'm not running it down. If you love taking it, that's wonderful. But every time that I've ever taken that flu shot, I get sicker that year than I've ever gotten. So you know what? I no longer take that. But if you're into that, you can go take it. But again, you may not have had the same experience that I did. Maybe it's just me that's happened to through the years. But every single time, it seems like. A former Leake County sheriff's deputy has been accused of evidence tampering. Pretty serious charge as we look at this. Breezy News is reporting that Justin Moore was at the center of evidence tampering investigation, which led to dozens of drug cases being dismissed in September. Ooh. Moore faces 31 counts of evidence tampering. That's going to be pretty serious. And again, his accusations at this point, he hasn't been to court. You're innocent until proven guilty. We'll see what becomes of that. We go to a little town not far from here. And I know if you've ever driven up north of this area, you've been through West Point. We got any people that live in that area, West Point? They've arrested the 5th person in connection to a murder that happened in West Point. West Point was where you come up on that. Is it still there? Maybe it was sold out. I'm not sure. That used to be the main hub for Bryan Brothers. Brian Bologna, y'all remember all of that? It was real big in our area. I don't do as much grocery shopping as my wife does, so I don't know the different brands anymore. I don't pay attention. It's just kind of there in a Ziploc bag if I have to use it. But Bryan Brothers was a big place, and that's where it all come from there. 5th person. That's pretty serious there. We look at this, as we talked about getting those flu shots, they're saying that this year, as we look at this across the nation, and the map really shows it, heavy in the deep south, that an early surge in flu cases are high this year. They expect it to be the worst in 13 years. Wash your hands. Be careful there. And we've got to just tell the truth on this. There's a lot of immune systems that are down now because, well, stayed locked up for 2.5 years or something like that, and you didn't have any contact with anyone. So wash your hands, be careful. It is. There's constantly, I'm hearing this from schools, of kids out sick by the droves. Y'all be careful out there. It's the flu, serious thing. As we look to Vicksburg, they got a new sign. You ever notice those signs when you roll into a town? I guess they call them, I'm going to say it wrong, I'm going to try to pronounce it. Muriel, did I say that correctly? That's one of those words that I could never get quite right because I always want to say moral. But they're going to be putting a new one, a little over $40,000 for a new one. And they say it's due to the special paint they're going to use for Vicksburg that says welcome to Vicksburg there. It has to be good paint to last for years. So they're getting a new one there. Getting ready to go to Vicksburg. Be ready for that. And I know there's a lot of folks that watch us from the Vicksburg area as well. Biloxi made an arrest. I don't know if y'all have seen this yet. They had somebody that was accused of murder in Georgia that just happened to be at the truck stop. Pulled over to get him a little nap there at the rest area. Not at the rest area, but Love's Truck Stop in Biloxi. Someone made a phone call. He's in the jailhouse now, as Jimmy Rogers used to sing. Things like this, I guess, start early. Memphis is crime-ridden. How long ago was that the rapper was killed in Memphis? Y'all remember that? It's a horrible thing there. It seemed to be well liked by the community, always doing good things for where he come from. We see that a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old girl have been arrested for stealing a car in Memphis. That's way too young to be starting a life of crime. Anybody go to the zoo in Hattiesburg? I see this headline. It's a pretty big thing. I'm not a zoo person. I can remember going with kids when they were a little bit. A baby hyena has been born at the zoo in Hattiesburg. So if you're going to be making a trip there, be ready. And also, if you bought a ticket, well, it didn't get you anything last night. We're up to $1.5 billion in the lottery. Wow, that's big. I got a note this morning, text to me. Goes, hey, we need to go buy another ticket. $1.5 billion, that's a lot of money. Connie says, Bryan Brothers and B&W closed years ago. Boy, it was sold, LaWanda says, to a larger company. You can still buy the Bryan brand if you know which store carries it. Wow. So I used to know someone that drove for them. Really, really nice fella. Employed a lot of people up there, didn't it? We got more to come. We're going to look at your forecast, possibly some severe weather just to the west of Meridian. We'll look at that in a moment. Some tornadic activity out that way, but not in our area. We'll tell you where that bad weather is as we move in. We are going to get wet over the weekend. We got all that and more coming up here in just a moment. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. And we say good morning to Water Valley. Laurie, how are you today? Glad to see you watching us there. As we look at our record highs and our record lows for the day, 2016, what a hot day it was. High of 88 it was back in 66. It even got colder. We were in the 20s yesterday as we looked at this day of what happened. It was 18 degrees on this day back in 1966. A cold one it was. Here's the outlook for today. 81 in the Meridian area as we go north to Philadelphia. 80 as you go on up through 15 up towards Starkville, Columbus Air Force Base. About 79 in the Mississippi Delta. We'll see highs in the mid-80s, 82. Down to Vicksburg, 83. Down to Natchez, it stays the same. Even in the Hattiesburg area toward the coast, we'll see 83 to 84 as you go that direction. As we go east into Bama, we'll see that Tuscaloosa has 79, a tad bit cooler in Birmingham at 78. Over to Troy and due south of there will be 80 or better. Looks like it'll be about 79 as well, hanging steady there in Livingston, Alabama. As we mentioned a moment ago, this is where the severe weather will lie, to our west in Vicksburg. That's only a level 1 from the Mississippi River Bridge back west into Louisiana. Now, with that being said, let's pull this up. We need to look at this so you'll know exactly where this severe weather is headed and what it's going to do. To our extreme west, in some of these areas, it's going to be very severe weather. As we look at this, let me go to this outlook. This is what lies out to our west. You wouldn't see that with that small map that we had there as we look at Meridian Honda radar. Right there, Vicksburg, a level 1. You get to Monroe, Louisiana, it will move to a level 2. And this is what's going to be happening from Waco, Denton, Texas, Sherman up to Texarkana, these areas here. This is a level 3. Probably will have some tornadic activity. We'll watch this over the weekend, and it's going to stay way away from our area. But if you've got friends, family, Shreveport to Denton, Texas, Dallas, Tyler, Lufkin, Texas, those areas there, keep in mind that it could be serious this Friday night into Saturday morning, real late there. So eyes and ears on weather if you live in that direction. As we look at the temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days, this is what it tells us. Warm weather as we see 81 today. Even hotter in eastern Alabama. But we do see that a cool front way off making its way towards us. Here's our 7-day outlook. 81 today, even warmer tomorrow with a high of 82. And look, as that storm system gets right to us in the overnight hours, Saturday, 80% chance of the wet stuff. It's coming. You're going to get wet on Saturday. There's no doubt about it. We'll get to 72 on Saturday for a high. That's it. By Sunday, it warms back up to 77. And back into the 80s we go on Monday. Let's go ahead and get further into this as we will finally see 60-degree November-ish weather rolling in about the 12th of the month. and it'll stay there and even dip lower as we get to the 14th, down to 61. Look at those nighttime lows after we make it to the 12th, 40s. We could start seeing some 30-degree weather at night there. It's going to get cooler. Y'all be prepared for all of this. Now, as we look to the tropics today, what's going on with the weather? We have a Category 1 that is out there. Not going to affect us at all as we look at this. Martin is a Cat 1 this morning at 86 miles an hour, moving north-northeast at 46 miles an hour. Way away from us, not going to affect us. We look at Lisa, who is a tropical storm moving this morning at 46 miles an hour, moving west at 10 miles an hour. Now, we got two little systems here that want to be somebody. We'll watch that over the next few days. Hadn't developed into anything, but we would definitely watch all of that for you to make sure we know what's going on with it. Now we move forward to find out what the fishing calendar is going to be today. Go to Chet's Paint and Body to find out all of that. Your next major time will be at 9 o'clock this morning through about 11 if you want to go fishing. Again, late tonight if you're an afternoon fisher, nighttime 9 to 11 if you want to fish at dark. Wind's going to be north wind becoming east at 5 to 10. It tells us that, well, it's not the best day to fish. If you look at the good, the bad, the ugly, today's not the great day to fish. You might want to hold off a day there and see when they bite better. That's a look at our forecast that we've got so far. Now, we're going to be back in an hour. Candace is going to join us as we get bring you the latest headlines. We'll be all over this morning to let you know what's going on in and around the area of what we had. I want to bring this up. Several food drives going on in the area. I know Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville will have a food drive on Friday. Also, our friends over at the Back Porch have one going on. They're helping out Love's Kitchen. They're in need of heat and canned food such as beef stew, chicken, dumpling soups. Wesley House needs veggies, mac and cheese. Drop-off location either at the Rock House Gun and Pawn or at the Back Porch. And again, that's it. We've shared that. If you need more information on that, please feel free to inbox us. We'll get you as much information as we can about that. Also, don't forget this weekend, they're going to be real busy over at the fire department. Long Creek is going to be having their big fundraiser as they have all-you-eat pancake breakfast. See them there. Saturday is the way it's going to happen there from 7 until 11 that morning. They'll help you out there in Long Creek. Goes to help if you have a fire at your home. Helps them buy equipment, stay on top of things. That's going to wrap it up for us this morning of what we've got right now. We'll be back again in 1 hour to let you know more what's going on in our community. We can't do it without you. Thank you so much for all the inboxes letting us know what's going on. We'll be back very soon. Thank you for joining us. As always, you can email us at ScottyRay1969 at AOL.com or just simply inbox us. Any way that you can get in touch with us, we do appreciate that. We'll be back soon as we start your Thursday right here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: